Hello, welcome to episode 2 of 4PLR Atlas devlog. This one might include A2 and A3 because, to be honest, the versions are pretty similar, and I don't really want to make like a big fuss over uploading every single different version. I mean, I made A2 right before A3. I made A3 like a couple hours after A2 because of the way the testing schedule works. So I kind of have very similar versions of the maps, so I may just combine both of them. And I may even throw in a secret third version to show you guys a little bit more of the process of developing changes for the map and why I thought about making them. So this was tested in the most recent playtest on the Alt tab playtest service. This was playtested in the EU test specifically, the one that happens earlier in the day. This was on the 24th of November, Sunday, as always. And this is A2B. We're going to talk about what happened to A2. And you may notice that there's only really a few changes. One of the big changes is this area here. I wasn't too happy with how it was before. It's kind of hard to tell, but I adjusted the payload track. So instead of like curving so aggressively, you kind of come out more and do a bigger U-turn. So you have to go into more of the courtyard before getting to the base of the hill immediately. I also made the health pack and ammo, instead of being tucked away in here, I put it out here so both teams can access it. I got rid of this weird building here and kind of made it actual cover by giving it a big wall so you aren't just exposed to all this over here. I moved the health pack in. I wanted to get rid of this route, but I realized it doesn't really matter if I get rid of it or not. I can just keep it. I will say there is kind of an unfortunate sightline problem where this wall here, you stand on it and you can see all the way up here. It's kind of awkward. I thought it wouldn't be a problem because the sniper's like really exposed. Like anyone over here just sees the sniper. But the thing is most people when they're leaving spawn, the sniper will be behind this like piece of metal. They'll leave their spawn, they'll walk this way, and they just never see the sniper. Which is maybe a good thing, because if they could see the sniper could see them and snipe back. Maybe that's a good thing, but, you know, it's, I'm gonna have to get rid of this little, thing here. I'm thinking about just getting rid of the wall. Just having this extend here, so that way there's no... You can't stand up here unless you get, like, I don't know, like a jump pad. If a jump pad happens and a sniper is standing up here, I don't care. That's fine. That's fair game. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm going to eat those words if I say that. It's okay for now. Present me thinks that, but future me might not. So, yeah, there aren't really many changes in this version. As I said, that's why I might make A2 and A3 the same. I will say the one other change I did is I made this area a little bit wider. The reason I made this bigger is because I noticed in the demo a lot of people were getting stuck in this little like staircase. So I just made it twice as wide so it's easier to like go up it and down it without really like having too much of a struggle. And it actually gave me an idea which I implemented into A3. So let's hop on over because... Oh yeah, and I changed the health pack in the middle from a full to a small. I changed it to a small just because I wanted to see like how it would play with it being a small. It doesn't really change much. People still die here just as much as they used to. So let's hop over officially to A3. Alright, so here we are in Alpha 3. This, like I said, was made a couple hours after A2 was tested. And there's pretty much two big changes. One of them is this death pit. I just got rid of the ground here because, like, I felt like it. I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of wanted to be a bit silly. I don't think it really changed much. I'm gonna be honest. One thing it did do is it kind of funneled players more closely onto this main route rather than having them flank around. So that was kind of interesting. That was kind of cool. It actually made for a kind of weird standoff where you could see people over here, but you couldn't really, like, get to them. So you kind of all, like, look at each other and be like, I'm gonna get you. And then once you get up the hill, you actually, like, start fighting each other. It does make this area really one-dimensional, though. I think I may do something right here, like put a little route that just kind of, just a little L-shaped thing here, just to make it so that there's slightly more to do here than there is currently. I think that might be appreciated by the people who are bum rushing right here. And then that's the big change. The other big change is I have a whole new route. So, let's talk about this. Why did I make a staircase that just goes up here that is really haphazardly placed? Well, I made it here, and I put health and ammo here because I wanted people to not cap as often. I wanted to slow down how often people would cap and how easy it was to cap. One of the main problems that plagued a couple versions of this map, specifically it happened in A2 as well, is players who are coming out of their spawn. Where's green spawn? Let me go to green spawn. As you're coming out of your spawn, your walk time to get to last is... It's not that it's really bad, it's that it's really dangerous. If you want to walk up this way, you're at a height disadvantage. There's people who could easily like run up behind you right here. And once you get to the top of the hill, you might be on the wrong side of the hill anyways. People might be pushing the cart over here, and you're all the way over here, so now you have to go into the open space and kind of jump across awkwardly. There's not really a good position to, like, stake your fight, you know, to be like, ah, I am contesting you, rah! So, what I have done is I've just made a very simple route here that just goes all the way up to this little, like, peak right here. So that way, you get to the top of the hill really quickly. This cuts down on travel times by quite a lot because now you don't have to walk all the way around. It also, what it inconsequently does is it makes it so that you can get to middle every single time, pretty much uncontested. As long as you have this space, you can just walk up these stairs and you will be in mid. And this had the exact desired effect because, on average, rounds were ending a lot slower. If I had more time to do this implementation, I wanted to originally have this route go here and then go up and dump you out like here. And each team would maybe have like a little building up here. I thought that could be really interesting because as it currently stands, I'm not really doing anything with the mid area. Mid is just a big open field and then like a little hill. So it would be beneficial to maybe have something a little more interesting, a little more dynamic happening. In the next version, I think I'm just going to get rid of this outer route here because it's limiting the design of this area. And I really want to focus on like developing last into a real area that you feel like you're playing around. Another change that's on this version is whenever the cart is about to like reach the end, there's now like a big siren, there's a big noise to like draw people's attention to, hey, someone is capping currently. Like, do something about it. And the other thing that is done in this version is I took a lot of the ammo packs and I replaced them with like small health packs and stuff because I kind of thought about it more and I was like, you don't really need ammo on this map. I got rid of all the little mini ammos on top of mid because engineers kept like picking them up to like keep dumping down sentries, and I'm like, okay, well that's kind of degenerate. We don't want to encourage that. So now if you want to get ammo for your sentry, you have this spot here, and you have... There should be one other ammo box somewhere. It might actually only be this one. I might have actually kind of gone overkill and removed all the other... No, it's down here. You can get the full ammo here. Maybe that's a little too out of the way. Definitely a little too out of the way, but we're gonna revamp a little bit of this stuff. My reason for why I had to go this way initially is just because it was simpler to implement, because there was a lot less geometry to like work with going this way. But now that I have a lot more time, I kind of want to change the shape of the spawn rooms. I want the spawn rooms, don't get me wrong, I love how the spawn room looks. I love the fact that I have this like two-tiered layered system, one that goes up to the left and one that goes down and to the right, or vice versa, depending on which team you're on, because this one's down and to the left and up and to the right. But I'm realizing that like by having the spawn be so disconnected from the rest of the map, like, okay, hear me out. This might sound crazy, but I was looking at this and I thought to myself, why can't I have the spawn here? Like, have a spawn here facing this way, and you have a balcony here, an upper exit, that is the way that you get to here. That would, like, one, it would make the size of the map more compact, have less negative dead space, because now this space that's a death pit currently would just be like a spawn room. There would just be like routes coming out of it. And also the other thing is this route up here, this like spawn door, could be moved a lot closer to the action by just simply being like facing here and connecting to what could be a building here. Some problems with that might be the fact that like this might be too much height variation off of spawn, so I would probably have to change this area to accommodate for that. But I think it would just be better, because then, here's the thing, if I were to have this route still, but like change this to be a more proper building kind of thing. If you've ever played Bagel, Koth Bagel, in TF2, I think that the way that the mid area is designed, with a sort of valley in the center and then a high ground on each side of the point, might be what I'm going to do here, by having like high ground be next to the point, making it so that you want to hold the high ground to contest like on the lower part. I think that'd be really cool. But obviously that's going to take a lot of reorganizing this part. But by doing that, then it's like, okay, engineers, if they want to roll out, they can roll out up here. I can have like a sort of set up building. Like this can be like a proper building area rather than a bunch of scrap as it is right now. And it kind of just connects the whole map a lot closer together. It brings everything to have a lot more of a feeling of unity to it, a lot more of a flow to it. And then on top of that, if you want to ever go towards the map, all you have to do is take one like direction, one deviation, instead of this kind of spaghetti. Because like I have the spawn rooms, like if you don't know that there's a spawn door at the top, I try to communicate it by having a light there, by having an arrow. And also the resupply cabinet, I think, is the biggest indicator. But if you don't know that there's a spawn room, a spawn door here, you like once you figure it out, you go to the left, and then you can go up, down. If you see this doorway, you can go to the right. Most people go up the staircase because it's like the quickest route, the least running around. And then if you have a jump pad here, you can do a big jump pad to middle, cut down on travel times even more. Like, there's a lot of steps to navigating and routing yourself, and it can kind of be disorientating for the first time playing, because you can kind of be like, well, where's my payload cart? Where am I going? What's going on? If I have the main exit be down here, the start of the round, you see your payload cart immediately. So a first time player will be like, oh, there's my payload cart. That's what's going on. I see. I understand. It all makes sense. Because my big problem over here, originally I was going to have the payload cart like be in here, but I feel like that was way too far back of a starting area, so this glass window is kind of redundant now. And I don't want to put like a glass window here, because, I mean, I guess I could, but I feel like that wouldn't like really fix the problem, because you run out here, you still see it. A glass window here might actually like show you where the payload cart is if I lower the geometry, but I'm going to change spawn anyways, so it doesn't make sense. Or it would make sense, but not to do now after I made up my mind. But by doing that, a lot of this geometry gets simplified, and like the shape of the map will kind of have this like cooler look to it, where now you'll kind of have like an axis going outwards, and you'll always have the high ground going to it. I think that'd be really cool. What it would also do is it would also have more of a distinction between like sort of holding your area and attacking an opponent's area. Because another problem I'm kind of realizing is I think that like part of why I want to do this, like have a building here, is because then I can have a route that connects on the right hand side and goes to middle, and I can still have this area to the left, which is just high ground. And then I can have like the way that you get back up going like, you know, somewhere in this area to go like up a staircase to then connect back up, because I think I want to make the route to the final area, like I want to make this different, because by having this be such a narrow area, it becomes spam, and it's fun. It is fun, but I wish that one team could push each side of the ramp and then kind of converge closer to the top. So what I would want to do is maybe cut it here and have this angle out like 45 degrees this way. So that way, when you're pushing the cart, you kind of push here, you do a U-E, or maybe I would have to, probably have to shift this over a little bit, but you do like a little U-turn, and then you go up the hill this way. I think that would make it more... Yeah, I would definitely have to nudge this over. But the staircase won't be here. I think that would make it more interesting if, like, a team is pushing here and a team is pushing here. What it would also do is it would mean that if you're pushing from middle and you're, like, pushing from this area, now there's going to be, like, a big sight line to here. So if there's, like, a sentry holding right here, you might notice that it's not really hitting that ramp. People could shoot it. People could get rid of it. And that might also make this area, this little cubby here, into a bit of a sentry spot, because I already have an ammo right over here. So engineers might be, like, incentivized to place sentries to, like, defend against pushes, maybe. The problem with, like, engineer in 4PLR is that, like, you kind of want to prevent all the other carts from moving forward, not just one. And you can't really do that unless all carts pass through one area. But, you know, it is what it is. I also, kind of, for fun, thought it might be kind of silly to just have, like, a little hole poking out here. Because I thought it'd be funny if someone, like, placed... Okay, look, this is going to sound really mean, and if you watch the devlogs and you see this in a playtest, don't tell anyone. But if there's a gap here, I'm going to place a sentry, like right here, that shoots upwards and is shooting people as they're pushing the cart into the final. I think that would be really funny. Is it really mean? Yes. Is it cruel and unusual punishment? Maybe, but... Yeah, that's pretty much it for A3. I do also want to show off real quick, even though it's not going to be in any future version, a little bit of the headache that is level design. And... coming up with changes and sometimes doing too much. Alright, so here we are on an older version, A2, and you're probably wondering why I'm showing this to you. It's because I want to show you how long iteration can take. So this was kind of my first concept of the angle geometry. I wanted to do this change in the laziest way possible where I wouldn't change as much stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, doing that made this so much more of a headache than if I just did it the proper way and I just moved this over. I wasted a lot of hours on this version, not getting much done. Case in point, I fucked with this area a lot. I wanted to have this route here. I didn't mirror any of the geometry, obviously, because I was still working on it, but this would jump across, and then you'd have like a jump across route here. I thought that'd be cool. But the main gimmick of this was that you could kind of walk through here and go through these little basement areas to get to not only like lower mid, but, or like the lower area, like cross section of track, but you could also very quickly get all the way up to mid with a big doorway, a big staircase, just a lot of room to like contest things, really have a lot of like fun, just going crazy with it. And as I was doing this, I just kind of felt like it was stupid because I felt like I was overcomplicating the space. I mean, look at this like double spiral staircase here into this, which needs to be here as a sightline blocker so that there's not like a really, really awkward sightline from here all the way to like back here where a sniper could just be like crouching, being really lame and cheesy. Even though it's a really specific thing, like you wouldn't want to have it happen. I did have rocks here, but I was going to like change the spawn. I just kind of had like feature creep. I wanted to do too much with this version than I really needed to, because the reality was is that A1 was only tested like once. And with the data I got from it, and like the amount of like response I got from a lot of people, it seemed like I didn't need to rethink the wheel. I didn't need to change the entire shape of the map to achieve what I wanted to do with it. And rather than focus on what kind of was the real problems, like more superfluous things like people not having an easy route into mid to be able to contest the final carts, routing being a little bit out of the way in some areas, leading to players having to like fight each other before they can fight for the objective they actually want to fight for, and having one team like steamroll. As I was doing all this, I realized that all these changes don't make these things better. They don't really make them worse. They just kind of keep the same issues there. So I'm kind of like fucking with the cookie dough even more rather than adding anything to it to make a really good plate of cookies. And so I kind of scrapped all my work on this version, and I started A2B, which is the version that was playtested, which you might remember from the start of this video had like no changes to it really. It was very simple. All I did was add like a crate here to block sightlines. I made this building normal, and I made like one or two more other changes. That was really it. It was not that extreme. And by playtesting that, it made me feel like with A3, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to just put a staircase here and see what happens. And by doing like a small version of the feature, by putting like a janky staircase here that's temporary, I got so much more meaningful data than changing like a billion things, trying to throw everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I got so much more meaningful feedback than I probably would have gotten had I gone ahead, stayed up all night, finished cranking this version out, gone crazy with it, made sure it was ready for the playtest, got everything fixed. That's on top of making sure that I didn't like miss any clipping, miss anything out there, any random little thing. Because I got rid of this flank route. I was going to make this like a whole area, but that's not really going to fix anything because no one was using it before. I don't know what I was thinking. I was going crazy. And I'd spent too many hours on the VMF uninterrupted. So I think that by just taking all of that stuff away, stripping it back, and just having a much more straightforward version of what was changed in this version, a box. Oh, and I adjusted the respawn times. I made them like a tiny bit lower, but like, that's not that crazy. But by doing like really small things that nudge the map in a better direction, eventually the map's going to get a lot better than doing a bunch of fucking, like, a million revisions that change everything, where it's like I'm testing a whole new map again for the first time. I mean, a change like this, while it was motivated from a good place, this just makes the area even more spaghetti. I was complaining about how spaghetti it was before. If this route connected here, people could still do the exact same flank I was worried about. So, like, what was I cooking? What was I cooking? What was I doing? This makes no sense. I'm such a hypocrite, because I said this area is too spaghetti, it makes the map too convoluted and too complicated, and look what I fucking did! I put a staircase into a spiral staircase, like, what is this? What was I thinking? If a friend showed me this and was like, hey, I think that I might have solved the problem, I'd be like, dude, you just did the exact same thing, but worse. Why? So, yeah, I felt like showing off this version just because, like, I don't know, it's interesting. That is probably going to conclude this devlog of A2, A2B, and A3. Not in that order, but, I think it's interesting. There probably won't be another devlog for a little bit, because I'm not working on the map, because I'm going to celebrate Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Go enjoy your Thanksgivings. That's not today, that's tomorrow.